people will try to make you feel that, you're a woman, you can't do this, you can't do that. How are you going to go into an industry that you don't know anything about? So you just don't care. You just got to go for it. If the shoe was on the other foot, they would be telling them the same.
Hey guys, what's good? And welcome to the COSIGN Life. If you're watching this video, that means you co-sign us and we co-sign you. So here are a couple of ways to support us at COSIGN Magazine. Number one, view the description below, click the link, and purchase an issue of COSIGN Magazine. Just like this one right here, physical. You can purchase this. Number two, you can also support us by purchasing COSIGN merch. Hit the link below and it'll take you to all our past merch items, and we'd love to have your support and see you wear COSIGN Magazine. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of COSIGN Conversations. Today we have the amazing, the lovely Jewel Sharp, founder of Pregame Barber Supply and of Hairscentz. How you doing today?
I'm doing lovely. How are you doing today?
I'm doing. This is the second time somebody asked me how I'm doing today. I'm doing great. I appreciate it.
Yes.
You look good today. Baby
Thank
blue.
you.
That's like my third favorite color.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So what's been up with you? We know that you've been working super diligently with your businesses. What else have you been working on?
I actually have a lot going on. So I am focused basically on the businesses and working inside of the businesses to bring more outlets to the businesses that I have. I know you mentioned Pregame and Hairscentz, but I also own a barbershop too. So I have a lot going on with the barbershop. We actually just had a residence event, which went really, really well. And just getting the city familiar with the shop and everything, and getting the residents in our building familiar with the shop. So I just have so much going on.
So your main focus seems like it's in like the beauty industry.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get your initial start in the beauty industry?
Actually, I got started in the beauty industry. My aunt, she introduced me to this world. She's been in the business for over 30 years. So in high school, middle school, I would follow her around to every event that she had. And I just took a very good interest into it. She basically gave me the outlets to what kind of businesses are in this business. And just watching her create her own product, she definitely inspired me a lot behind me being inside of this industry.
So you have three companies. What was your first shop? Which one was your first? What was your baby?
Hairscentz was my baby. I built it from the ground up. Did a lot of research before I ever got into it. And that's where I first started at. So that's been the branch for everything else that I have going on.
Got you. And for those who don't know, kind of tell us exactly what Hairscentz is and how you developed it.
Yes, Hairscentz is a hair deodorizer. It eliminates the smells of sweat, smokes, flat irons, anything that lingers in your hair. It lasts up to 24 hours. We have 5 different scents. And what inspired me behind Hairscentz is that a little of my partying days, a lot of partying days, got tired of my hair because I wear extensions a lot, and all my ladies that wear extensions know that, you're not gonna take every day to wash your hair.
Right.
So you try to spray the perfume on it, but it's like using Axe after working out. You know that you're still gonna smell the sweat.
Guilty.
Yes. After trying several other products, I'm like, no, we need something that is catered to extensions and catered to, people that wear these certain types of hair, and that's how I got into it. It's just basically trying out other products and seeing how they worked for me, and then realizing that, no, we need something that doesn't mask the smell, but actually eliminates the smell. So I did a lot of research before I went out there and said, hey, I'm going to create this product and we're just going to take over the world. Like, I wanted to make sure that, I was going towards a market that actually exists before I just got out there. Yeah.
Got you. I'm always curious about the beauty industry is like when people have the idea, they do the research, and then like the execution of creating a product from scratch. Can you kind of tell us how you made yours? Did you work with like somebody in the lab? Did you find a product and just kind of partner with them? Like, what was your process for you when you created Hairscentz?
The process is just that. It's basically doing your research.
Okay.
So, if you're interested, anyone's interested in creating a product, make sure that you do your research, because a lot of people think that, your idea is great, that no one else is doing it. I'm sure there's someone else that's doing it, right? So do your research. And I had help. Like I said, my aunt that's in the industry, she basically broke it down into pieces.
Okay.
So it's crazy. The whole story behind Hairscentz is crazy, because I told her when she had her hairline, you need to create this product. Like it's the next thing is going to be the next hottest thing. And she's like, you do it. So I basically had to go and do the research and, just knowing your components.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a product, you know that there's a label, there's a bottle that holds the product. And then you know that, you have to design the labels. So it was just putting all those aspects into one thing, and then doing the research on every single last piece of that, and then putting it all into one.
So let me ask you this. I'm not sure if you know this, but let's say you look at a label, it has all these ingredients on there, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, I love this product. Do you basically send somebody these ingredients and tell them you want to mimic this, or do you tell them I like this, but I wanted to have this scent? Here are the ingredients. What else do we need to add? What if somebody's starting from scratch and has no clue?
No clue. I definitely would say I looked at my products and I took these products. I went into Walmart. I think that's where I believe, and I bought dry shampoos. I went after all the big companies that already had that product.
Okay.
And then I took it to a chemist and told them, I don't want to use these exact ingredients,
right?
But I would like to mimic these ingredients. So I did work with a chemist.
Okay.
So if you are looking to start a product, just know that you're gonna need a chemist somewhere in there. You can't just do it yourself. There are companies that sell formulas for you to go off of, but if you're looking for your own specific formula, and just know that there are some rules behind that.
Right.
But you can go to a chemist and create your own formula, or there's companies like white label companies out there that will help you build, that you can use their own formula instead of going to a chemist, because that can be pricey.
Got you. And just rebrand it as yours.
Yeah, you can rebrand it as yours.
And when did you launch Hairscentz?
It was in February of 2018. That's when I received all of my product at my front door, and that's when I started to have a panic attack. Oh my gosh, it's here, it's right in front of me. Yeah. So it was February 2018.
Do you remember who your first customer was?
Oh, it was my first customer. Yes, it was. Yes, I do. It was a family member, actually. And they went on my website and they purchased it. And they were my first customer. It was a family member.
That's what's up. It's always good to have that family support.
Yes, they did. They supported.
So I'm going to say this because I'm an entrepreneur myself. So crazy enough to start one business, right? What made you want to start another one?
I was just crazy. I started these businesses because it was trying to have a plan B.
Okay.
I will be honest. I started the company and I didn't put all of my faith into that company working out.
Why is that?
Because as an entrepreneur, once the bills start stacking up and that great idea that you had, it didn't take off. You didn't make that $1 million on your first day. You're kind of sitting around like, oh my goodness, what's next?
Right.
And that's basically how the other businesses started, was thinking, what's next? I'm in the moment now, and I'm sitting here with this product. It's not flying off the shelves. Other things happened in life that made me jump into something else. Okay. So the advice I would give people is to, work on that one thing first before jumping into something else, because it can get a little
So what
crazy.
was next for you? Was it the barbershop or the supplies?
It was a barber supply that was next.
Okay.
Originally, it was the barbershop.
Okay.
And that's a crazy story if you guys want to know.
We do.
Okay. So, of course, following my aunt around in the barber supply industry, I was able to go into a lot of the barbershops. And like I said, Hairscentz wasn't moving at the moment. So I'm like, what's next? I need to do something that's gonna keep me afloat. So I was like, a barbershop. I had this space that I originally rented out for Hairscentz, and it was just crazy rent. So I said, I'm gonna create a barbershop. I'm gonna put barbers in here. This is a perfect space.
Right.
We're off the street in Uptown. We have crazy walk-in traffic. So I knew that it was gonna just hit immediately. So I went out, bought all of my barber chairs, started marketing towards barbers. Like, this is gonna be the next hot barbershop right here.
Yeah.
And little did I know that I would just run into problems with the city. The city said, no, ma'am.
Wow.
This building that you're in, you know, you got code violations and everything else. So imagine you're thinking about the grand opening and pushing this whole barbershop to people, and the city just comes in and shuts you down, says, no, you can't open because you are in violation of, you know, building codes and things of that nature. So I had to take a stop there. Okay. And this is how I ended up opening up the barbershop in another location.
Okay, so the one in Uptown never opened?
It never opened. It's so sad, so sad.
Wow. And for people who's faced that, like, were you able to get out of your contract with that, or was that a fight in itself, or?
That was a fight.
Really?
That was a fight, but I wasn't backing down.
Gotcha.
I said, 5 years, y'all can't keep me here for 5 years. I said, I'll stay for 2 more years and try to figure it out, but man, if you get stuck in a contract like that, just get out as fast as you can, because even though I took those 2 years to try to make something else work, I failed a lot. Right. I lost a lot. And there was at a point that I couldn't make up what I had lost. Right. So I would tell anyone, don't be ashamed, because I was ashamed. You know, I put this whole business together and all these people are happy that I have a barbershop coming. They're just believing in me, like, she did it, and I just had to shut it down. So I would say a lot of business owners, you know, you're kind of get ashamed. Right. And it's like, it's okay, because I don't know a millionaire who I've read, or a business owner who I've read up on, that started off with one thing and it just took off. Nah, for sure. So I would say just never give up, which I didn't. You know, even though I lost tons and tons of things, and, you know, I had to face the humiliation, which I thought was humiliation, but it was basically like, when you tell the story, people are inspired that you actually saw it through and you didn't stop. So
from there, is that when you moved to where you are now, or was it a different location?
That's how I moved to where I am now.
Okay, and that's in Southside Lamar, right?
Yes, Southside of Lamar. That's how I got here.
Got you. But you didn't know that. So at this point, when you first got here, was Hairscentz already starting to take off?
I had put Hairscentz on the back burner. Okay. Because I had to focus on, you know, how am I going to get Hairscentz going? What am I going to build the capital to get Hairscentz rolling? So I had to put it on the back burner, which I didn't like, because I said I put so much passion into it, so much time and focus, but I had to let it go for that moment and try to pick it back up.
Got you. And then now you're at the barbershop here, you're starting to get people in, so it's starting to take off. And is that when you pivot into the supply route?
Yes, that's how I got into the supplies part of it. I was basically doing that in the middle of getting the barbershop down, and that's how the supplies part of it picked up. So I said I actually tried to convert a space into the barber supply. Right. But then I said, you know what, let's take this down a notch, and I just turned it into a Plan B business.
Gotcha. Which worked out?
Which it worked out. I know. It worked out. Yeah. It worked out.
I want to say we talked before, and you service a lot of other barbershops as well, right?
Yes.
How many in total barbers or barbershops that you service with your supplies?
It was about 200 a week that we go to for the barbershops. I'm not as sure how many barbers in total, but it's about 200 a week.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's a crazy business. Lots of inventory to keep up.
And how many did you start off with when you first launched?
When I first started, I was doing it myself. So I had a little bucket I'd go around, and I think I was doing about 10 shops
10.
for the whole week. I was
Yeah.
like, you know, that's all I could do. That's all I could fit in my schedule. So I was taking it like at a slow route first. And then that's when I decided, you know, I'm trying to do everything else. So let's get someone else that could be more committed than I am at this moment to go out there and build the company out. And that's when I hired my first employee to go out there.
That's what's up. How are you feeling about that? Like hiring is, you know, nerve-wracking at times.
Oh, hiring is very hard. Harder than you think.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot that goes into knowing, because as a business owner, you have to work the company yourself.
Right.
A lot of people want to, you know, hire someone and it's just supposed to take off, and it's like, no, you have to work the business yourself. So it was really hard for me to hire someone and say, you know, my passion, my love, I'm committed to this, but will you be committed to it? And that was very hard. And you don't just get it right on your first employee. So if you're out there, you got people that you hired and it's not working out and you feel like I've had 1, 2, 3 people, just keep going.
Yeah.
You're gonna find them eventually.
Nah.
But don't give up. They're coming.
Right.
Sooner or later.
So I always say sales is like one of the most important part of business. Like without sales, you don't have a business, right?
Yeah.
So from going to 10 to 200 shops, like what was y'all method to like increase your clientele? Was this all foot traffic, like going barbershop to barbershop? Were y'all doing calls, outgoing calls? Like how'd you scale?
I basically scaled it. I had built out the entire route because we have a route of barbershops that we go to. And so I basically built out the route and added more shops on to see if someone could hit more than I said if I'm hitting 15 shops a week, then if someone's doing this 8 hours a day, that's how I totaled in how many shops can be hit within that week. And then that's how we scaled out. Can I say that I laid the business out correctly the first time? No. Because when you're moving to a scale like that, there's a lot of things that changes that you're not prepared for. And you just have to be prepared on how much volume's coming in. Because I was only ready for this type of volume. So when it hit that type of volume, it was like, it kind of got a little rocky. Right. Not gonna lie, it did get a little shaky in the business where I was kind of.
It's a good problem to have though when you have a lot of clients, have a lot of people you have to work with instead of not having any.
Yes.
So there's that.
It's a good problem.
Yeah,
good problem
it's
to
a
have.
good problem to have. Yeah, definitely a good problem. You know what also I'm curious about, and I feel like a lot of our audience who are like creators, entrepreneurs want to know is, right, when people think of let's start a business, right, they do think of, real estate, they think of barbershops, restaurants, things of that nature, right? But you yourself are not a barber.
No,
right?
I'm not a barber.
So what would you say to somebody, like the method to opening a barbershop, but you're not going to be the one cutting? Like, did you partner with somebody, or was this all solely you? And like, what do you recommend for somebody that wants to go that route?
So I built the barbershop out myself, but I knew that I would face a challenge in getting barbers into the shop if I actually wasn't a barber, and I can't be on a personal level with you because there's certain things about a barber that I don't know. Right. I don't cut, so I can't tell you if that's a good haircut or not.
Right.
I can just look and I'm like, that's a little uneven, but that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
So I actually bought a barber in that was able to partner up with me, I guess, and bring the barbers in. Like, I made him the manager of the shop. Like, you just get everybody in here, run it, make sure that everybody's happy,
right,
and I'll step off of your toes.
Gotcha.
Just, make sure that everybody's happy and get on a more personal level with them because you are a barber.
No, that makes sense. I was telling somebody too, like, as far as like when you're running multiple businesses, it's sometimes it's easier to partner with somebody, and you know what I'm saying, whether it's equity share or whatever that component is, and that way you can focus on more, and you don't have to be so hands-on with every aspect, because I'm sure you get overwhelmed with multiple different things, but having that help kind of takes the weight off your shoulders.
Definitely, it really does.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what would you say is like one of like the hardest thing you have to overcome? Was it, the building? Was it trying to get barbers in? Like, I know you've been through a lot over your time of entrepreneurship, but what do you think has like been your biggest adversity that you overcame?
The biggest, I would just say staying in business.
Staying in it.
Staying in it.
Why would you say that?
Because there's a lot of challenges that you face, and like I said earlier, is that you fear facing humiliation. So you don't want to ask. It's just that you push. People are saying, you're successful. I see what you're doing. So it's kind of like you never want to ask for help. But it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to let people know that you're actually failing and that you need help. So I would say that the biggest thing I've overcome is definitely actually staying in business.
Gotcha. Have you been able to do that? Ask for help?
I have. I gave in. COVID definitely was one of those moments where I'm like, okay, sitting here kind of lost, so I'm gonna need some help. So I definitely was able to ask for help and to keep it all rolling.
Gotcha. How'd you feel after that? Because like I'm sometimes prideful myself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta let it go to the side. But, sometimes it's like, man, like people do look at you in a high regard, right? And you're like, man, I don't want them to think any less of me or to think any less of my business, but I'm drowning.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, how'd you feel afterwards? Did you feel like, okay, it wasn't so bad, I should have been did this? Or was it more so like, I'll never do this again?
I felt better because one of the things I've heard some of the advice someone's told me is that if business was easy, everybody would be in business. Right. And the fact that you are and you're still willing to take the fail and keep going just makes you stronger than what you would think. Right. So every business owner, if you are failing, but you're still thinking about continuous, how to stay in it, then you're already stronger than you realize.
No, that makes sense.
So you can keep it going. I mean, if you decided to stay, trust me, you're very strong. So keep it up.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna add more to your plate too.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that's a little crazy, but I'm gonna just keep doing it.
Is there already something in your mind that you want to work on next, or?
Yes.
What is it?
Working in the barbershop.
Okay. What aspect?
Adding a feature to the barbershop.
Okay. Explain.
Explain? Okay.
Yes.
So I always see barbershops, they're selling, this is actually my first time, Belize doesn't even know, my PR doesn't know. Exclusive. This is my first time telling anyone, but I was very interested in how barbershops, I'm like, how are you selling liquor, beer, and wine? So I've been in the works with the city right now on how to, even if we're in a residential building, so trust me, this isn't easy. Right. Trying to add the feature of selling, not serving for free, but selling beer and wine in the barbershop.
Wow.
So that's the next feature I'm working on. So yes, I got lots of meetings with the city and TABC and just trying to get it all worked out.
Have you seen this concept done before?
Yes.
In the city or like in another market?
I've seen it done in a couple of barbershops. Okay. Maybe not the selling feature, but definitely the serving the wine and beer.
Gotcha.
So.
I think that'll be a cool experience.
Yeah.
Especially while you're waiting. I mean, you already have a key thing of barbershop talk, so you add a little beer and maybe a wine to it. It just makes it a whole vibe.
Yes.
That's cool. You know what's crazy? I think because the way people are these days, like, you really don't have as much people sitting in the bars like you used to, because people are appointments only, they're fast going. But I think this will make it kind of go back to like the nostalgic of being in a barbershop, relaxing, fellowship, brotherhood. It's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I'm like, see, women, we're not used to waiting in the salon for hours or 45 minutes to get our hair done. We're like, we had our appointment, but even I see the men, they'll come in there, I'm like, dang, you've been in here for 2 hours just sitting here. So I'm like, what can we do to make your waiting experience better in the shop? So that's the feature I thought of.
That's what's up. How close are you say of that coming, or close or far from that actually happening?
Oh, we got a couple of months under our belt before, got to get approved by the city, and it's just it's a lot that you don't think about that comes up that this is a couple of months out though. But I'm not giving up.
Gotcha.
Not giving up. I went to the city, I got a no, and I stayed there for 3 hours until I got an explanation as to why not
Gotcha.
and what can I do
Yeah.
to get around the no.
That's real.
So I would say don't take no for an
Yeah.
answer because there's always a solution. Until you came up with every solution and then it doesn't make sense, then drop it. But
Gotcha.
if there's other outlets, definitely work around them and see how you can get things done.
See, that's great advice, is waiting for the explanation. Because people will get a no, go home and have no idea why they received a no.
Yeah.
And from the explanation, you could pivot, change, and come back better and ready. So that's actually great advice. You know what I'm saying? Not only just don't take a no, but get an explanation of why
Yeah.
they said no.
Yeah, because we are our own educators in the business world. You want people to educate you, but they can't. You know, I couldn't sit there with the city and say, hey, why won't you? And I'm like, no, I want to sit down with someone that's going to tell me why. And from this, I'm going to take that information home and figure out how I can get yes. So don't look for people to educate you on why,
Right.
but to educate yourself.
Gotcha.
You can learn how to move forward with things.
I also want to know this, just from your personal opinion, how do you feel being like a successful woman in like the men's barbershop industry? Like, do you feel slighted sometimes? Do you feel respected, acknowledged? Like, how do you feel personally?
I'm always hearing, you know, like, what are you doing in a male-dominated field? And
Right.
if you're not a barber, then why would you own a barber shop? So I definitely face that a lot. And I'm just like, you know, it's a different world. We can come out, you can do whatever you want. So I would say, I just tell them whatever. Like, women, we can do this too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that we're taking over a whole male industry. You know, you can do it. So I would just say, stick to it.
Stick to it.
Stick to it.
And I want to go a little deeper on that because I feel like we always like to give our audience, you know, motivation, inspiration. So outside of the barber industry, like you could say, there's a lot of different male-dominated industries.
Yeah.
You know, some may say music or, you know, whatever it is. Like, what would you tell to that woman who's really struggling to kind of get her feet on the ground, dealing with, you know, a lot of negativity or, you know, sexism as well in the industry, but, you know, she really has a great idea or really great at her job, but, you know, she gets a little discouraged. Like, what advice would you give to that female entrepreneur?
I don't know if this is the best advice because I just say I don't care. I just stopped caring at one point because people will try to make you feel that, you know, you're a woman, you can't do this, you can't do that. How are you going to go into an industry that you don't know anything about? So you just don't care. You just got to go for it. If the shoe was on the other foot, they would be telling them the same. Just go for it. Just, you know, don't worry about what are people going to sell you. Even though it can get hard because it does become a little intimidating,
Right.
but just keep the power alive. I mean, we're in a world where we're going to take over eventually. I mean,
I agree.
sorry to you
No, I
guys,
agree.
but we're going to take over eventually. So
I'm gonna take over my life, so I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Take over
we
business
make the
next.
world go round. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Nah.
I would just tell her to keep going, stay focused, don't be intimidated. You're gonna face challenges, whatever industry you go into. So definitely don't be intimidated and stay as strong as you can.
That's great advice. I can utilize that in my own life too. So
Yes.
That's great advice. So the last thing I definitely want to ask you is, I know when you first started Hairscentz was your baby, but you know, as entrepreneurs, we grow and pivot. Is Hairscentz still your baby? Is it the barber supply come your baby? Is the barbershop your baby? What are you most focused on right now? Or is it your personal life? Like, what is your most focused goal aspect of life right now?
Because I focused on my businesses for so long, if you don't focus on yourself, you have to make sure you're healthy.
Right.
Your businesses don't run smoothly unless you're running smoothly. So
Right.
take care of yourself. Get that massage, get your nails done, go eat by yourself, do whatever you need to do,
Right.
but take care of yourself. Don't always put the businesses first because they're gonna be there. Regardless if it's going good or bad, you're still in the middle of it all.
For real.
So make sure that you take care of yourself because your businesses cannot run without you.
Definitely. You guys heard that first here on COSIGN Magazine. Take care of yourself first, then take care of your business. And as always, please continue to look at the COSIGN Life. Support my friend Joel Sharp at Hairscentz, Pregame Barbershop, Pregame Barber Supply. Appreciate
The
you.
Boulevard Barbershop.
The Boulevard Barbershop.
Yes.
Oh, let me do it again. I don't know why I thought it was pregame too.
I know, I tried to make them two different because everybody's like, pregame barbershop. I'm like,
The
"Pregame
or
barbershop."
the? T-H-E or
The Boulevard.
T-H-A?
Yeah. T-H-E.
Okay, straight up.
Just the.
You know, sometimes people want to do BA and all that. All right, yeah. All right. Let's see where I was at. Okay. You heard it here first at COSIGN Magazine. Take care of yourself, then take care of your business. I'm here with my lovely friend Jewel Sharp, owner of the Boulevard Barbershop, Pregame Barber Supply, and Hairscentz. And as always, please continue to look at the COSIGN Life. Peace.
Hey guys, what's good? Thanks for supporting COSIGN Magazine by watching this video. If you really enjoyed this content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share.